Gamers, strap in and prepare yourselves for the biggest monthly update in the history of this series. June has come and gone, which means we're finally past one of the busiest seasons in the whole industry, the Summer of Gaming season, formerly known as E3. Rest in peace, my king. There are a ton of showcases to talk about, from Summer Game Fest to the Xbox Showcase and a bombshell Nintendo Direct, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. You know the drill. If you're trying to keep up with everything, you've come to the right place, where we talk about all the co-op games that came out last month, what co-op games are coming out in the next months, and any co-op news in between. It's the Co-op Monthly for June. Let's get started.
Praise the sun, quite literally down here in Florida, because there were not a lot of games releases worth covering here in the review roundup for June. Normally, I'd be sad about this, but we need to save our breath for the news block because there is a lot, as Gabe has hinted to. Despite that, Diablo 4, one of the biggest co-op games of the year, released early this month. We covered the critic reviews in the last monthly. It killed it, sitting at a mighty 89. Gabe and I have also been playing. Our review just dropped. If you want the TLDR, we think it's a very solid co-op package. It has so many features that other games miss or screw up, and Diablo 4 has them, on top of really fun gameplay, really fun builds, and for us at least, an awesome story. So if you want to get on Diablo 4, I would suggest getting in on it. Who knows what's going to be like in the future with season passes, but we'll tackle that as we get it. The other game I want to cover here quickly is Speed Crew. Roll the clip, editor. Okay, admittedly that was the wrong clip, but that scene never gets old, right? Now as for Speed Crew the game, it's released on Switch to pretty much expected fanfare from critics. Just a few reviews all sitting around that 3 or 4 out of 5. You typically see that for these Overcooked likes. James Luff from Lady Gamers liked it and had this to say about the co-op. Speed Crew is another recommended game to add to the co-op game night. As is often the case with these games, this is not recommended for those venturing alone. With other players, the experience is fun and addictive.
Riding that Summer of Gaming high into July, we have a couple titles releasing, one that we've been waiting quite a while for. Starting things off with Exoprimal, which releases on July 14th and will be on every platform bar the Switch, and is also coming to Game Pass. This is that PvEVP Capcom game that I got to play during a beta a couple months back. I actually really enjoyed my time with it, so I'm excited to see the full product and hopefully get 4 of our friends together to dive into it as a full team. Ember Knights got a 1.0 release date during the PC Gaming Show and will finally be releasing in full on July 18th. This is such a sleeper co-op hit, and I hope it finally gets all the attention it rightfully deserves. It's a 4-player roguelite you can play in both online and local, and it'll be launching on PC and the Nintendo Switch. Even though we've known about Pikmin 4's July 21st release date, we've yet to hear much about its rumored co-op mode. Well, after a deep investigation, which by that I mean Andrew simply going on their website, we've learned that Pikmin 4's co-op mode is nothing more than a point-and-click assistance mode. It's the kind of mode that's only really worth it if you're playing with a young sibling or child, which is fine, but kinda disappointing for the rest of us who were hoping for a true Pikmin co-op experience like what we got with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Nintendo disappoints us again. The big July release for us is none other than Remnant 2, of course. Remnant from the Ashes is one of our favorite co-op games, so we couldn't be happier to be mere weeks away from playing the sequel on July 25th. PC gamers will have to wait a couple days later though, as the game launches on the 28th for them. Like the original, Remnant 2 is a Souls-like that features 3-player online co-op. If you missed the original, go watch our review. It'll give you a good idea of what you can expect of the sequel, and also why we haven't shut up about it. Super Raft Both Together is a unique roguelike builder mix that comes out on July 25th as well. You can play the chaotic PC title in 4-player local and online co-op, and it looks pretty fun, honestly. We're trying to play more indies this year, so hopefully we get a chance to check this one out ourselves. Another indie co-op title coming your way in the form of Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragon. This is a 2-player local co-op beat 'em up that's part of the long-running series. It'll be out on July 27th for all platforms. We're too young to have played any Double Dragon game, so can't speak to this one much, but here's your excuse to either educate or grill us in the comments, your choice. Closing out July, we have Disney Illusion Island, better known for its alternative title, Baby's First Metroidvania. I'm kidding, even though we're not Disney adults, we're very much planning on playing this one ourselves. In 4-player local co-op, you and your friends can take on platforming challenges as you play as Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy. And yes, the game is actually a Metroidvania, making it a great introduction to those younger gamers. You can look forward to playing it on July 28th on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, before we get to the news from all the summer showcases, there were a few updates to existing titles that are worth covering just real quick. I'll pretty much take any excuse to bring back the music of TMNT Shredder's Revenge, so here it is in the background, and the DLC announcement gives me that opportunity. The beloved retro-inspired beat-em-up is already back for more with new game modes, character colors, and playable characters in Dimension Shell Shock. It launches later this year and is an excellent excuse to try the game out if you haven't already. It's hard to remember it, but Redfall did release earlier this year and is already overshadowed by Gollum as the worst game of the year. Crazy how fast that title was lost. But the depleted team at Arcane isn't giving up quite yet, with its first big update releasing earlier this month. It included improvements to enemy AI responsiveness, enemy encounter frequency, vampire combat efficiency, and graphical fidelity, which, yeah, I can confirm all those things were really needed. The bigger story on Redfall actually came right after we posted May's Monthly, when video game journalist god Jason Schreier spilt the beans on what a troubled development Redfall truly had. As the self-proclaimed king of co-op, I want to declare to all of those who will listen that it doesn't always have to be like this. Co-op games can be made, and they can be made well. Developers, please don't use this as a cautionary tale against co-op. Just a cautionary tale against bad management. Now you may go in peace. Like Redfall, Warhammer Darktide released light on content. Unlike Redfall, it actually had great potential and is one of the best cooperative shooters I've played from a purely gameplay perspective. What Darktide needed to have at launch is largely addressed in this content drop, Rejects Unite. 2 brand new missions, a new randomized boss spawn to contend with, quality of life fixes with a huge focus on cosmetics, which is a big issue in the game. Honestly, what I would do from here on out with Darktide is look at it as if it's still in early access, and once that Xbox console release comes out, it's almost like a relaunch. And when that happens, expect to find me serving the Emperor when all that content accumulates to a really good co-op game. Okay, from here on out, we're going to be talking about the news from all the showcases during the Summer Games window. Ladies and gentlemen, we have emphasized that it's a lot, and we weren't joking. We're just going to keep these updates to the essentials as best as possible. Wish us luck. 30XX is the roguelike action platformer that turns Mega Man into Modern Man, with both local and online 2-player co-op. And it got 2 big trailers actually. The first at Guerrilla Showcase told us it was coming to Switch. The second from the PC Game Showcase told us that it was coming out of early access into 1.0 on August 9th. During Xbox's extended showcase, we got word that Phasmophobia, the long-running early access 4-player co-op ghost hunting horror title, will be coming to Xbox in early access as well this August. Love seeing more early access games make their way to consoles. Good on you, Xbox. Vampire Survivors made it into the Nintendo Direct as it knocked off every possible console on the planet outside of PlayStation. But more importantly, with the Switch version comes a 4-player local co-op mode for every console that it's already released on as well on August 17th. So don't worry, it's not exclusive to the Switch. It was just announced here as well as being announced that it's coming to the Switch, so you can enjoy this masterpiece with your buddies wherever you want.
Continuing with the Summer Showcase's news train, let's talk about all the updates we got for upcoming titles. These next few games were all covered at the Guerrilla Showcase, starting with Void Train, which got a new gameplay trailer and development update. This is a very unique title. It's like a survival game set aboard an interdimensional train? No, yeah, that's really what this is. It's in early access right now and features online co-op. Go add it to your wishlist if you like what you see. Hammerwatch 2 is a sequel to a classic top-down RPG, and it got a decent gameplay overview. The sequel has pretty much built on everything the first game set up with deeper RPG mechanics, but one of the biggest changes is a new quest system with dialogue choices and decision making. No release date yet, but again, wishlist it if it looks like your kind of game. Iron Meat is a 2-player local co-op Contra-like that got a new trailer and demo announced at the showcase. Trailer looked pretty sweet, music is a big highlight, so definitely go watch it and turn up the volume. It's coming later this year on October 17th exclusively on Steam. Survival co-op games are a dime a dozen lately, but Sengoku Dynasty stands out with its unique feudal Japan setting. Not only that, but there's also some management sim mechanics with having to manage your village once you've built one up. And the best part is, you can do all of that with a friend in online co-op. The game got a new trailer at the showcase and is still planned for a 1.0 release in Q2 of the year, as it's currently in early access. Last game from the Guerrilla Showcase, which turned out to be a pretty good showcase for co-op and gave us yet another look at Pizza Possum. The game got an official co-op trailer showcasing all the amazing co-op shenanigans, and what more can I say, it looks simply incredible. We actually got to play this one ourselves as part of Steam Next Fest and put up a 15-minute gameplay video, so please go check that out. Trust me, Pizza Possum is one to watch. Moving on to the big Summer Game Fest opening event, and we got a peek at gameplay of the Lord of the Rings Return to Moria game. And even though it was just a peek, we did get to see some combat, crafting, build mechanics, and a reassurance that the game is still coming later this fall. If we had to give any game the Best of Show award, it would have to be Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2, which got a surprise co-op trailer and totally blew our socks off. This was at the top of our list in our most hyped co-op games from Summer Game Fest video, so go check that out for more details on it, but the short of it is, Space Marines 2 will have a separate co-op campaign for 3 players and it looks freaking amazing. It'll be out on all consoles bar the Switch, and we can't wait to play it sometime this winter. Speaking of awards, if there was a quirky game award, it would easily go to Henry Halfhead, which got a nice gameplay overview at the Day of Death showcase. As you can see, this is a weird little puzzle game that sees you possess objects. Just towards the end of the trailer though, we did get our first look at the local co-op mode where you can have 2 Henry Halfheads and do all sorts of crazy things like possess a toaster and I guess like bread. Like I said, it looks fun, quirky, and it's coming soon, so you know the drill, add it to your wish list now. So I almost didn't include this one out of sheer spite, but fine, twist my arm, I'll do it. We got a really cool Wizard with a Gun trailer at the Devolver Direct that started with this sweet animation before going over some other gameplay features. But you know what we didn't get? A freaking release date. Not even a release window, nothing. Not sure what's going on with this game, it's been forever since we've heard anything back. Hopefully we hear something by the end of the year on when it's coming out. A shadow drop would be kinda nice. Anyways, moving on. One of the more unique co-op games from all these showcases was Karma Zoo, which got a deep dive trailer at the Devolver Direct. This game comes with 2 modes. The first sees you pair up with 9 other random players as you all work together and use your unique abilities to get through platforming challenges, while the other mode is more of a quick-fire minigames mode you can play with your friends. Both modes are actually built around the 50 different characters that each have unique movesets. All that sounds really cool to me, and the game is targeting a summer 2023 release date, so hopefully it's out fairly soon. Enchanted Portals is an upcoming Cuphead-like game, which is the first of its kind as far as we're aware. It'll feature 2-player local co-op, and it got a brief gameplay trailer at the Future Game Show. I wasn't even aware of this game prior to the show, so hopefully a little shout out on the monthly will get more eyes on it. Go Fight Fantastic also got a short gameplay trailer at the Future Game Show. It's a 3-player hack and slash that we actually got to play for ourselves as part of Steam Next Fest, so do us a favor and go check out our stream, go wishlist the game, and go try the demo. Do all of that in that exact order and you'll be good to go. It's coming to Steam later this year. Lords of the Fallen got a meaty gameplay trailer at the Future Game Show. I gotta say, for the first time since this game was announced, this trailer actually got me pretty interested in the game. The devs talked about how you'll travel through this new world and switch between 2 different dimensions, a really cool feature I had no idea about. Hopefully we get a deeper look at co-op gameplay as we close in on the October 13th release date, but yeah, go check out this trailer for yourself, it was very interesting. Lightyear Frontier got a really nice multiplayer trailer during the Xbox Games Extended Showcase. It was a really great trailer showing all the tasks you can do with or without your mech, and it was the actual development team playing and showcasing their game in co-op, which is always nice to see. Lightyear Frontier is now launching onto early access sometime next year, so go wishlist it on Steam to keep up with the title. Another game that made it onto our Summer Game Fest co-op list video is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I was not expecting much from this game, but we both came away fairly impressed with its first gameplay reveal at the Ubisoft Forward Showcase. Yeah, it's basically a Far Cry game set in Pandora, but those games are great in co-op, so we're hoping this one will be too. We'll find out when Avatar Frontiers of Pandora releases for all platforms bar the Switch on December 7th. If you're thinking we're almost done, you couldn't be more wrong because we got the Nintendo Direct to talk about, not to mention a whole other news block, but hey, let's focus on Mist Force right now because it finally got a release date announcement. We played the demo recently and thought it was a ton of fun. Shameless plug, go watch our Steam Next Fest video to hear more. The game has been in early access since last year, but will now be launching onto 1.0 later this year and will also be coming to the Nintendo Switch. We're not really here to rank showcases, but I'd put my money on Xbox for the W this season, as one of the best announcements from their showcase was the September 21st release date for Payday 3. Thousands of co-op gamers have been waiting for the return of this franchise, myself included. So it's great to hear that the Payday gang is coming out of retirement for some more heists in New York City. And we got to see some of the game in action thanks to IGN's first preview, so go check that out to see your first look at the game. The last showcase in this very busy showcase season was Annapurna Interactive pulling up to show us all the cool artsy games. Flock was the only co-op game, but it's a really cool game I'm excited to talk about here. It's basically like a very chill birding game. You can play in 2-player online co-op where you explore a whimsical world and you go find these bird creatures to charm and add to your flock. You can party up to explore together, and overall it just looked very zen and very unique. And yeah, it's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but it's also coming to Game Pass, which should give you a good excuse to give it a shot. Outside all the Summer Game Fest stuff, we had 2 news stories for upcoming titles worth mentioning here. First is a new gameplay trailer for the upcoming co-op survival RPG Enshrouded. The gameplay overview highlighted some interesting features like how the world has a Minecraft feel to it, being able to mine through walls, as well as a cool glider for exploration. It's coming to early access sometime this year, and while again there's a ton of co-op survival games, this one could be the one for you. Last announcement for this block, ARC Raiders is hosting a closed alpha test which started on the 29th. This is a good sign since at least it means development is continuing to move forward for the PvEVP Extraction title, even though we haven't heard much from the team. And if you didn't get into the test, well, you're in luck as some of the gameplay has leaked online. We'll reserve our thoughts on everything until we've gotten our hands on the game ourselves.
Time to finish up with all of the brand new game announcements. Now, some of these admittedly weren't as new as we thought when we first started writing the script. That's okay, I'll mention that when it comes around, but for the most part, tons of new games thanks to those summer showcases. We're actually going to start off going a little bit back, doing a little backtracking here to the PlayStation Showcase. Remember during that showcase in May, there was this little game. Yeah, Phantom Blade Zero stole the show and our hearts, but what we didn't realize or report on is that during a Q&A session at the end of May, the developers revealed the game would have multiplayer dungeons. Nothing more was said on the matter about how that works, but it's exciting nonetheless, even if we have no release date, no release year, and no release window. For those of you who might still be convinced that we hate VR, here's a few titles announced during MetaQuest Showcase that have co-op, including our first ever look at gameplay for the Attack on Titan Unbreakable VR game. Technically announced at the beginning of the year, it's one of those, but it's new on our radar, so we thought it might be new on yours. It'll have 2-player co-op and fulfill the fantasy of giving your hearts to Eren and the cause. Our other VR title for the day was Dungeons of Eternity, a 3-player co-op dungeon crawling RPG that is low on the graphics meter, admittedly, but looks high on the fun. I mean, Gabe and I always have been the wizard and tank duo of legend, so it'd be cool to live that out in VR. It's coming sometime in 2023. Questmaster is a brand new game announced at the Guerrilla Showcase. It's like the Mario Maker game, but instead of Mario levels, you're making Zelda clone levels from the GBA era. I mean, they're not even trying to hide that. You can make dungeons together in 4-player local co-op, and you can play them with your friends in local co-op. This actually had a demo during Steam Next Fest that we tried to play ourselves, but the tutorial was awful, so we ended up passing on this one. But if it looks cool to you, go check it out, try the demo, and let us know what you think. Our second new game announcement out of the Guerrilla Collective that actually turns out it wasn't new, it had been announced earlier, but we didn't know about it, whatever, was Gatekeeper, which looks like a top-down cooperative Risk of Rain-like. I love the look, love the unique characters you'll have, and of course, I love the online co-op. Check out their newest demo, Gatekeeper Infinity, on Steam. It has its own separate Steam page. It should be out sometime this year and will include that online co-op. A lot of people's favorite new announcement of the Summer Games Fest was Sonic Superstars, a return to pure 2D platform action for our favorite Blue Hedgehog. But while it may look like a back-to-basics experience, it adds 4-player local co-op for the first time ever, and I'm kind of having trouble imagining that working out. Hey, at least they're trying to give it a shot and see how it goes, and we won't have to wait too long as it comes out on October 17th this year to all the consoles. Speaking of back to basics, the other brand new co-op announcement out of Summer Games Fest opening showcase was John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, coming in 2024. It's a 4-player online co-op zombie horde shooter, stop me if you've heard this before, with multiple classes to choose from, over-the-top action, and over-the-top humor. Honestly though, if it adds this cool vehicle element they're teasing, I could be down to try it out. Again, 2024 to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. During Devolver Digital's presentation, we only got one new announcement for co-op in Humans Fall Flat 2, a sequel to the much-loved Humans Fall Flat. No gameplay was shown, but I'm sure we can expect plenty of goofy antics solving physics-based puzzles in an 8-player online co-op game. One of our favorite announcements out of the Wholesome Direct was Paladins, a cozy online or local 4-player role-playing adventure where you and your teams have to come together to make decisions that will affect your playthrough. Art style is A+, and we can expect to see more closer to its launch in 2024. And yes, this is the last one where it actually was announced a year ago, but it was the first time we heard it, so we thought it might be your first time too. Getting back to more Xbox Showcase news, we had 2 new co-op games shown, starting with 33 Immortals. You might remember this as the top-down Hades-like, or the follow-up from the developers of Spiritfarer, but most likely you remember it for the 33-player co-op. Yes, 33 players. Excited to see how this works when it comes to Game Pass in 2024. Towerborn, the new game out of the developers from Banner Saga series, was revealed during Xbox's showcase and given more details in their follow-up extended showcase. We learned the game was an online and local action RPG with Castle Crasher-like co-op. You collect loot, conquer territory, customize every detail about your character you want. I really like the art style. I really like that it's coming to Game Pass, and we can expect more info closer to its release in 2024. We're getting close to the end here, but before we do, let's circle back to PC Gaming Show where we got a cinematic reveal trailer for Earthless. Just watching the trailer, you might leave confused, but it's actually a roguelike deck builder. You can play in 2-player online co-op with co-op specific cards, love to see it, and it's making me think this could be the one game to get Gabe and I back into deck builders, just like our old Yu-Gi-Oh days. We'll wait for more info in 2024, which is the current release window for this PC exclusive. One of Gabe's favorite announcements was Macabre, or Macabre, not totally sure, a stealth action horror title with 4-player online co-op. You look up Gabe game in the dictionary and this is what you get. Looks like fun, has some interesting time mechanics and upgradable gear, but we have no release date, so be sure to wishlist to promote its development. Okay, let's finish up on my personal favorite showcase of the month, Nintendo's Direct. Yes, I think Xbox killed it, but you know me, I'm a Nintendo at heart, and Wario is the cream de la garlic of Nintendo. WarioWare Move It looks to be a spiritual successor to Smooth Moves from the Wii, and we are down for that. The last WarioWare title had co-op as its main feature, and we thought it was great, if a little bit short considering how much money it was. We'd be willing to give Wario more money, because it means a lot to him, and it's here pretty soon in 2-player local co-op or 4-player multiplayer on November 3rd. And what better way to finish the June monthly than on Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the first brand new Mario 2D platformer in like 10 plus years. It looks mind-blowing with awesome music, great details in the animation, some truly crazy power-ups, and of course there's the 4-player co-op with the usual gang, plus multicolored Yoshis, and Daisy. Gabe is already calling her that's a guarantee. I'm disappointed it's only 4-player local co-op and not online, although it's not very surprising, but we'll just have to have a reunion and get the gang together for this one. October 20th is going to be a day to remember, with both this and Spider-Man 2 releasing on that day. Man, 2023 is a great year for video games. But wait, breaking news! Gabe just told me there's a brand new Avatar game that will have co-op. We gotta go watch this one immediately. Roll the footage.
Water. Earth. Fire. Air.
Wait a second. This looks awful. How is it that Avatar, one of the world's favorite IPs, continues to get shafted time and time again? Bad movies, bad games, and now this PS2 looking garbage? Well, it is coming this fall with local and online 2-player co-op to PC and all the consoles, so maybe Gabe and I will play it so you don't have to.
And that wraps up the biggest monthly update to date. If you've made it to the end here, thank you for all your support. We love working on this series even though it's a ton of work. If you're a fan and you like what we do here, please subscribe, share it with a friend, leave a comment down below. It all helps us out a ton. And if you want to go the extra mile, follow us on our socials and check out our merch. Links to all that down below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time on another episode of The Co-op Bros.